Okay, I think I'm actually going to do the next giveaway, which I'm not a representative of the water group, but with other groups, I work with the water group, and sometimes it's been mentioned, Reclaim Water, of course, Daryl and our poet and Friends of Flagstaff's Future has referred to the Reclaim Water, and the water group, I believe, was formed actually because of its concern about the contaminants of emerging concern in our water. And the city is now investigating further uses of the reclaimed water and whether it should be used for drinking. And the water group has been sending around this book, Troubled Waters. Is it backwards, or you guys see it correctly? I hope it's correct. And this author, Seth Siegel, has agreed to come to town, or to come to Zoom, but hopefully come to town in the fall or in the spring when we can have a live event with Seth. This book talks about all about water and the quality of water in our country, and in particular at the end, the important stuff for us is about what's in our reclaimed water and what's being done around the country to make use of it and how it has to be cleaned. And that is going to be a giveaway. There's actually about 20 books circulating in town. So if you don't win this book, you're welcome to borrow it. You could just contact me. I will put my email address in the chat. And if you'd like to borrow it, we're sending it around for everybody to read before Seth comes. But this one will have be able to be kept by the lucky winner. Go ahead, Aubrey, pick somebody.
All right. The lucky winner for this is going to be Denise Hudson. Congratulations, Denise.
Oh. Well, I just talked to Denise, and she said she was reading too much, but now she can put this for later.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Unexpected.
Okay. I was just looking for.
I will spread it around.
Thank you. Thank you.
Chapter is not online, and so I have drawn another name for the soup thermos, and that will be Lewis Hurst.
Lois Hurst.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm just writing my name in here, and we'll move on. And next, we're going to have Dr. Eric Nolan, new Dr. Eric Nolan, who just got his PhD, and he's going to speak for Zero Waste Flagstaff. Take it away, Doctor.
Thank you. I'm going to have to get used to this, one, because I'm not used to titles, let alone that title. So this is a very new territory for me. Yeah, hi, everyone. You may recognize my name. I ran for city council last year, and I've been involved with quite a few different movements, for lack of a better word, within our community. And one that I'm recently helping to organize is a zero waste group in Flagstaff. Mainly when I started to take a harder look at our recycling practices, when I started to realize just how big of a challenge we have in front of us, I thought I would see if folks would be interested in joining this group so we could talk about it. We have city staff who's involved. We have experts in the field who are involved. They can kind of help us understand that we have a really big issue when it comes to our solid waste, and it's just outside of the reach of city staff, meaning even if they tried their hardest, we have state preemptions that strip away local control for us to better manage our recycling. We can't even do that locally. So we have a lot of challenges here. And I thought what I would do is share my screen. I'm just going to share a graph with you and a table just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So yeah, the name of our group, just loosely, it's called Zero Waste Flagstaff Group. And this is the main thing here that we're concerned with. This is data taken from city reporting over the last few years that looks at our solid waste stream. And you can see by the yellow color there, it's a pretty significant portion where that little bit of a color difference just above that, that's our recycling. So all that underneath is going straight to a landfill. And even of that little bit that's up at the top, and this is per tonnage. So you can just think about like all the stuff that goes into our trash cans, the weight of that just piling up. So this is, you know, tens of thousands of tons that our entire community is producing. And we're not recycling that much to begin with, but then even of that amount that we're recycling, almost about half of that is contaminated and can't be recycled anyways. So it's a huge issue that we have in front of us. And I wanted to bring up this table just to briefly give a little bit more information. So if you want to screenshot this, this is found within our city reporting that just breaks down exactly how they're looking at our waste stream. But this is going to be more than what city staff can do alone. I mean, this has to be a cultural change. This has to be an entire community push if we're going to get our recycling practices better. I have my contact information at the bottom there. If you'd like to send me an email, and I'll put that in the chat as well. Feel free to reach out, and I'll invite you to the next meeting that we have where we can talk about where the city is at, where the community is at, and how we have to bring this whole sort of movement together. And I do want to take just a minute to take a couple steps back, because I heard quite a few of our presenters mention this word, and they talked about waste, and they talked about, you know, coming to this land and the waste that we give it, and it's Mother Earth. It provides so much for us if we can just play within its role, as opposed to coming here with our lifestyles that have huge waste streams. I originally came from Southern California. All I'm doing by coming to Flagstaff is importing my waste stream to the top of that mountain. So I personally feel like I have a responsibility to do everything I can to lower that, because everything I buy from the store is wrapped in plastic, whether I want it to be or not. And all these other things that we have within our lifestyle are a part of that. So what can we do to reduce all of that waste, and then make sure that the parts of it that can get sorted are recycled appropriately? And that's a whole other issue where those industries are not quite online yet. So a lot of stuff that we throw in the recycling bin is actually still going straight to a landfill. So there is a sense of urgency that I feel with this, because I know we have climate change. I know we have these other issues that are all kind of stacking up. And I think at the end of the day, what we're really realizing is that it's time for a shift in the way we do things, and in the economy that we have, and the way that we do our day-to-day operations. And I think we all feel it. We feel it socially, we feel it environmentally. We know that it's building, and it's because human populations are building. It's because our populations are growing. So how we grow in that context is going to play a huge role in if we can sustain our lifestyles. Otherwise, things break down, and then we have to go right back to where we were, and history has showed us a lot of where those places lie. So I think part of paying homage and honor to the land is participating. So if you would like to join, again, I'll put my email in the chat, and feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. And this is a great way to introduce our next speaker with the Azulita group, and that's Emily Melhorn.
Hi there. Thank you so much, Marilyn. I've never shared screen in Zoom before, so I have one image. If I can't do it, I would really appreciate it if Aubrey can. So, I'm going to go ahead and try to do that right now. Okay. So this is my static image I'm going to keep up here so that you guys can check out our website. So I'm with the Azulita project. Our mission, we're an environmental nonprofit that is committed to reducing single-use plastics. So not only are plastics created from fossil fuels, but only 8% of plastic that has ever been created has been recycled, and it stays in our environment for hundreds of years. So we really see plastics as the epitome of a throwaway lifestyle that doesn't treat our resources as sustainable, but as something that we use temporarily, and then we pretend that there isn't a way. So as you can see from my screen, the shared screen, our three R's are actually reduce, reuse, and rethink. And that is our approach to handling reduction of plastics pollution. So some of our programs that I hope to highlight here, the Political Science Project, I think particularly for this group would be of interest. This is a program that is committed to reducing plastic pollution from political signs. The Azulita project works with candidates to create systems where they can easily recapture and reuse their signs for future campaigns. The Azulita project also works with schools, gardening groups, and community members to find repurposed uses for signs that cannot be used in future campaigns. And for this particular group, please let us know if you volunteer with a campaign or if you are running for office at some point, and we will help find sustainable solutions for these plastic signs. And we are also committed to promoting the candidates who are really committed to reducing plastics and waste in general through their election campaigns. Another program that we do is the Totally Reusable Bags program. And this was a 2020 pandemic pilot program where the Azulita project provided sanitized reusable bags to replace single-use plastic bags for curbside pickup. We also have drop-off locations where community members can donate reusable bags if you have a ton under your kitchen sink like I did before I donated them. This upcoming summer, the Azulita project is expanding this to restaurant takeouts with branded "This is a borrowed bag" bags to encourage people to return these bags and start to rethink a reusable bag as a community asset and not just like another freebie reusable bag that they get. So volunteer opportunities for this program, it's helping to sanitize and deliver bags, getting bags donated for the program. We've had a lot of really great response with that. And for people also just donating your own extra reusable bags and making sure that if you actually receive one of our bags through either the farmer's market or restaurant takeout, make sure you actually return it to a drop-off location so it can be washed and used again in the community. In addition, another program that we have going on that took a pause during COVID, but we're hoping to start again, is the reusable rentals. And this is very similar to the F-Cube Zero Waste tableware kits. But our program has some similarities, but we also have a large supply of clear beverage cups that are preferred for alcohol sales and metal silverware for mid-size events in about 500 people. The Azulita project also provides commercial dishwashing services. This was done at the Flagstaff Mountain Film Festival, and we hope to continue it again. Volunteer opportunities there are to help with delivery of the reusable rentals, maybe help cleaning, and also just spreading the word on this and really trying to cut down on those single-use plastics for events. Where am I at for time here? All right. Another program we have is Straw-Free Flagstaff. And this is by request only for straws or sustainable alternatives like paper straws. The Azulita project is also moving this into a by request only for plastic silverware, condiment packets, and many other plastics with, that are increasing rates with takeout from COVID. Volunteer opportunities for this program is helping us to collect data on restaurants and increasing participation. All right, I'm going to go back to my full screen here.
Okay, Emily, time's up.
Okay, I thought so.
Thank you for all that information. That was great. And we have, there you go. Okay, thank you. And we have the final speaker is actually going to be from the Coconino County Democratic Party. The Coconino County Democratic Party has been rewriting its platform, and there's an environmental group that Mark Alexander is part of, and he's going to tell us a little bit about that. Go ahead, Mark. Unmute yourself.
Hi, folks. Thanks for doing this. This is a great experience. Before I get started on what has been proposed on our platform, I'd like to say that I'm also a board member, an active member of Northern Arizona Climate Change Alliance, along with Stefan and Jenna and others here. But I'm also an active Democrat, and that's what I'm representing today. Now, I've been working with Stefan and Bill Wade and some others on topics such as energy and climate. And I'd like to bring up some of the things that have been proposed and are listed under topics on our Google site. Such things as we support additional wind farms in Coconino County to provide alternative energy. Also, additional solar farms. It has been suggested that we support the idea of a geothermal test well around the peaks, that perhaps we can get some energy from what might still be heat sources under the peaks. In hydroelectric, we pump water out of wells in the inner basin. It comes down the mountain to the city of Flagstaff. It might be possible to put a small hydroelectric generator at the terminus of that water in order to get some energy off of that might substitute for other sources. Now, an interesting idea that has been proposed is, since we have so many power lines crisscrossing northern Arizona in Coconino County, and also natural gas lines, that these could be locations for alternative energy, particularly solar farms that would, because these companies already have the rights of way that already exist, and particularly underneath power lines, it would be easy to connect to that. So that might be a great source for future solar power. We and others have proposed that there be fees on carbon utilized in Coconino County, natural gas and so forth, but there could also be fees on equipment that uses carbon fuels. So equipment and the fuels themselves. And these fees could be diverted to help do such things as insulate homes and help reduce our carbon footprint. It has also been suggested that we research some form of energy storage so that when we have the possibility of excess solar power in the middle of the day that's not being used, it could be used to store and then released as needed. It's also been suggested that we, in the future, require homes and perhaps businesses to be built with electric vehicle chargers and also with photovoltaic systems. It's been suggested that we have higher standards for government buildings, city, county, state, and so forth. Also, it's been suggested a constant promotion of these ideals to prepare the public for the necessity and the availability of these things. We also would like to see a carbon fee and dividend system that has been suggested similarly by an organization called CCL. There could be incentives that could be used in the community to cover some of these things. For example, incentives for electric vehicle charging in public places. Also, incentives to increase the insulation, particularly on older homes and buildings around the community, to reduce our energy usage to heat and cool these buildings. Another interesting idea that has that has been promoted is the concept of perhaps a county-wide cooperative system that could be used to like something that just happened, Solar United Neighbors in creating a solar buying co-op. So a similar co-op might be able to be created county-wide that would assist in lowering the cost of buying alternative energy products, either generators and or usage of that. Now, one of the problems that we have, of course, is the political end of it. And we would like to see that some sort of a law gets passed that would prohibit the state from interfering with the Corporation Commission. They have, the state, I believe, has a bill in the docket to take some power away from the Corporation Commission to set standards. And that's a threat to the future energy use.
Mark, I'm going to have to interrupt you because your 5 minutes are up, but gosh, that was a lot. I can't wait to see how the Coconino County Democratic Party deals with all these suggestions. Some great ideas there. Okay, we're going to, before we take questions from people for our last 3 speakers, we're going to have another giveaway. Aubrey, are you ready?
I am ready. I keep forgetting that I'm muted. I'm going to do this one more time. We're going to go ahead and do a screen share. Our next giveaway will be another water bottle, tote bag, and some liquid hand soap and a soap bar from Clean Cult. They make all of their products out of coconut-based products, and they make them in Costa Rica. So let's see who's gonna win that one. Yeah, speak of the devil, Mark Alexander, you got that one. Congratulations. And then our next final giveaway piece will be, this guy here. We've got another beeswax food wrap along with a water bottle and a tote bag. Fun products. And the winner of that one will be Marie Sanson. Congratulations, Marie.
Hey, so anybody have any questions for our last 3 speakers? I have one, but I'll wait for the rest of you guys to see if there's anything you want to know.
Marilyn, this is Nancy Brannaman. I would like to just get thoughts from people out there. You know, every Monday in the newspaper, there's a picture of a dog and a picture of a cat, and we all know that we need to, you know, help be responsible with our unhoused animals. But why can't, because I suspect the Arizona Daily Sun gives that part of the newspaper away. I would like to see the Arizona Daily Sun donate a space every week for the environment, for climate change, for, you know, what can be recycled, how to recycle, et cetera, et cetera. So I would be happy to help Emily or Eric or somebody, you know, really try to press the Daily Sun. Is there any thoughts on that?
Nancy, I think that that someone has just obtained the right to do a regular column in the Daily Sun on climate issues. It may not be quite the same thing you have in mind, but that was a major change that I think we should appreciate.
Yeah, and we can find out who is going to be coordinating that. And just like, you know, there's a column about real estate, there's a column about our professional runners, etc. So I imagine it's going to be somewhat like that. There's a column that the master gardeners do. So I think that we will have plenty of opportunity to share good information. And That's great news, Anne.
Yeah, well, Stefan is here. I think he's coordinating it. Maybe he can tell us more.
Well, so yeah, a little bit about the process, Nancy. We, like I said, we've been doing shoe strikes every month since July, and we sent a press release to the Daily Sun every month about the shoe strike. The first month, they gave us a great article in advance of the event and some great pictures of the event after, including front page Sunday pictures. Since then, they've been ignoring us. So we did a March Media Madness campaign in which we wrote letters to the editor, and this actually went national and global. So people all around were targeting their media with campaigns of letters. And then we said to ourselves, well, if we don't really get a strong response from the Daily Sun, we'll have our last shoe strike at the Daily Sun headquarters. And the morning I sent the flyer and the press release for that shoe strike at the Daily Sun headquarters, I got a response from Chris Ettling, the editor, and he called me and offered for us to write a column on climate change. So there was a little bit of a process involved in getting to that point. And so far I'm the one who's writing that column. It's called Spotlight on Climate. You can see the first one. If you look it up, it was this last Saturday. And the second one will be an equivalent date in May and so forth. Now we're going to focus on climate. Climate, as I said, touches on everything. So it's going to address many other related environmental issues, but it will be primarily on climate. There's also Earth Notes that appears in the paper regularly, which is another environmentally focused column. But if you want to push for getting an additional space column, whatever it will end up being, Chris Ettling is the one you have to convince. It might take a little bit of doing, but I put my contact information in the chat. If you want to talk more about it, I'm happy to.
I have a question for Eric, if we still have some time.
Go ahead, Bill.
Sure. Eric, do you know if Flagstaff has ever looked into the possibility of trying to produce biomethane from out at the landfill? And is that at all feasible to try to collect that instead of letting it leak and try to use it to displace natural gas methane that's otherwise increasing CO2 when we burn?
Right. And it's tricky to answer because they know it's an option to look into, but I think right now city staff is really tight on their budget, like unbelievably tight. So I think what we're trying to do is focus more on reductions than trying to look at some longer term plan of the landfill. I haven't heard too much about converting the methane that comes out of there. I do think that, would be worth considering, but what they're also trying to do is to what they call extend the life of the landfill by not sending as much there. So they're really looking at how do we just try to, and Azulita project is, that's what they're focused on. How do we get that reduction like way down? And I think that's why we don't quite know how to work it out with the landfill just yet, because we're right now in the deliberation phase of all of this, of how are we going to possibly do this for 70,000 people. So I would definitely say, bring it up to the city staff. Feel free to reach out to me and I'll follow up.
Any other questions? We have about 3 minutes left.
Marilyn, I wanted to just interject real quick. Mark Alexander actually already won something earlier, and so I've redrawn McKenna Marino. Congratulations, you had the liquid hand soap giveaway.
Thank you, Aubrey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anybody else who has a question, just speak up, please, if you have a question. Mark, go ahead.
I would like to mention the City Fix-It Clinic that happens several times a year. And you can bring objects in to be repaired free. I'm one of the electromechanical fixers, and there's usually a bicycle mechanic, sewing machines, and others. So you can bring objects in to be repaired rather than send them to the dump. and we actually weigh these all of these things that we save, and that goes into a list of the tonnage that we have kept out of the waste cycle.
Thank you, Mark. I think Emily had her hand raised. Emily?
Yes, I wanted to speak about, we were talking about the AZ Daily Sun, and I did hear about the, what do we do with the plastic bags there? And, you know, the mention of pet waste and all that, but it can be used for that. But if those little plastic bags annoy you, reach out to me. We'll try to figure out a way to, you know, deal with those. And also, you know, the Azulita project, our social media does have little things on, like, you know, more sustainable ways to do your pet waste. And I mean, even things like that, we are really looking at reducing even those everyday little things that we take for granted, that this is how you do something. So yeah, so if those AZ Daily Sun bags annoy you, you know, reach out to me.
Okay, everybody, we're coming in our final minute. I just want to thank all of our great speakers and our audience, which has dwindled, but some of you have stayed throughout the whole thing. And I just found it extraordinary at how much is going on in our community and how well we're all working together. Aubrey, do you have some closing comments?
Happy Earth Day, everybody. This has been a great way for us to celebrate a lot of the work that's being done in our community locally. I'm really excited to hear from everybody, and I'm excited to know that we have so many people that are passionate about protecting our world. That's what's gonna make this place habitable for generations to come. So thank you all for all of your hard work. I hope we can continue to collaborate, even though sometimes there's partisan issues to be considered, but we certainly want to be able to support all of the work that's going on. So
thank you, guys. Have a good evening.
Good night.